Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you for joining me here today. We're taking another look at Ethereum Classic, and we're just going to strictly look at the technical data. There's no fundamentals here. Obviously, if you have some insight on what's going on and why the price is increasing the way it has, feel free to comment below. But we're just going to go ahead and take a look at the charts and make sure you understand perhaps good entry point and best practice for climates like these. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. This is for educational purposes only. Please always do your own research. Also, there's $25 in Bitcoin in the link in the description below from Voyager, as well as a link to our community for our Telegram group. So please get in there and get engaged. Let's all learn and grow together. But without further ado, let's go and get right to it. All right, folks, let's go ahead and take a look at Ethereum Classic. Now, what we always do first is we take a look at the Bitcoin and Ethereum charts, just so we can get a baseline of what's going on over there, because those do impact the overall price action for a majority of the coins that we look at, right? So just like to get a baseline there so you can look at that and just quickly understand the perspective overall in the market. Then we'll go dive deeper into the actual technical data for Ethereum Classic and see what's going on today. I'm excited for this one. All right, so let's take a look at Bitcoin first. So here she is. Here's Bitcoin, and if you are in the know, you'll already understand that we had some pretty interesting increases from 53,300 to 57,000, back down and up again. It seems to bridge this gap, and it's not even spending any time in between. But right now, we are above the 200-day moving average. This is a very important sign. So once we are right here and staying above, then it could be we could be in pretty good shape. So if the same thing happened last time though, so just be cautious. We were above for what? That's about 24-hour period. Then it came below for 24 hours, above for 24, and then it did its thing recently. So just be mindful of what's going on with the price action, because it is kind of odd the way that it keeps going up and down. So if we see in the next 8 to 12 hours, if the price drops below that 200-day moving average, roughly about 57,000, that could be cause for concern. So just be mindful of that. Next up is Ethereum. And this one is, of course, kind of doing its thing as well. So with the recent indecision in the market with Bitcoin, people leaving Bitcoin, jumping on Ethereum, and then vice versa, you kind of see this trend happening. There's a lot of indecision. Price tried to hike up again recently with the increase in Bitcoin, and now there's a bit of a consolidation phase. So we'll see what happens here, but it did hit its all-time high of roughly 3,550, 35.5. So that's essentially what we're looking at there for Ethereum. Nothing else much to note. The 50-day moving average is trending upwards. Could be tested over the next few days, so just be aware of that. But for now, not much else to really report there with Ethereum. So let's go ahead and get into Ethereum Classic here. Now, when I last reviewed it, it was in this channel here right now, or previously, of course, and it's obviously done some things since then. So it keeps doing this step ladder up, where we get a sharp increase, consolidation, sharp increase, followed by consolidation. So just based on what I see right now, again, we'll look at that closer at the details. It does appear that the price will likely continue to consolidate and probably continue to shoot back up again, right? It's been on this constant tear, and it's really awesome to see this here. So let's go ahead and take a look at the one-day chart first. Now, this is the one thing I just wanted to kind of highlight. Again, I'm more risk averse, so when I see a price action like this, it does concern me a lot, because I do feel like there is cause for a retrace, and that it could come crashing back down. Maybe not crashing per se, because it seems to hold its value just like Ethereum does, where it stays high. But I can say that it's likely we're going to see at least a retrace and or consolidation in the very near future. It's rare for any type of currency to jump up, 5 days in a row without some type of retracement or consolidation. Now, it has been consolidating in small periods, so that's a very good sign. That kind of keeps the overall momentum going. And we'll look at other charts too to see what I'm talking about with that, but it's usually a very good sign when you have short periods of consolidation followed by the increases that we've seen so far. So all in all, even though things are extremely bullish and the momentum is extremely overextended, it's still in pretty good shape overall, okay? What we want to see is continuous volume, right? Because as soon as the volume starts to taper off, like it kind of is right now, even though we're maybe only halfway through the trading day, there could be a turnaround, right? So those are just little things to pay attention to. The volume tells us a lot. Okay, so that is the 1-day chart. Now look at the 4-hour chart. This is where it gets a little more interesting. So obviously the RSI is up over 70, and it has been for some time. That's not super concerning because of the way that it has been consolidating. So if we continue to see consolidation followed by a sharp increase, consolidation increase, then we'd be in good shape to continue to hold on, right? I would not recommend selling. I would just recommend holding on. This overall just has a really good, big picture, if you will, based on how it's been moving up. So I like all these technicals here. They all look very, very good. I normally don't like the RSI to be up over 70, but on the 4-hour chart, it's not terrible considering the way that it's been consolidating in these short little periods. So if we see another period of consolidation, I would prepare for another ramp up. Okay. And if we look at the 15-minute chart too, back to this here, I just want to note, and this is just kind of something that happens for the most part, on average, when you see the RSI come up over 70, there's some sort of retracement that typically happens. Now what's unique about this is the fact that when the RSI comes up over 70, there isn't much of a retracement, it's just strictly consolidation. So what that does is that tells us that the bulls are still in very strong control. They're still in control. So normally I don't like to see the RSI over 70, but in this circumstance it's not terrible because it doesn't retrace very much. Like look at this retracement. This is the biggest one it's had, and that was a very, very small percent. That went from 99 to 90, somewhere like just basically about 10% decrease. Don't get me wrong, that's still a lot, but it's not terrible, right? And if you see the difference between the volume weighted average price and the top, it's not that large of a variance either. So it's healthy momentum. So anytime we see this kind of increase in price, even though it's sharp in small doses, the RSI is calming down enough to be able to continue to be considered not oversold or overbought. It's kind of right in the middle. Okay, so this is a perfect kind of progression that you want to see on a bull run, because it's not just shooting up, like 200% in one moment where it has to correct itself. It's jumping up, 10, 20, 30% at a time, and then slowly consolidating and then coming back up again. So to me, this is a great opportunity, great scenario. I feel like any entry at this time would probably be a good entry because of the simple fact that it's making higher highs and it's consolidating and it's not overextending itself. So I mean, even look at this here, this overextension of RSI up to about 80. Look at the retrace, minimal. It's very little. That says the bulls are still in very good control. So when I see something like this, I like to make an investment. So honestly, I personally feel the way that we see everything right now, the way it's progressing, it's in very, very good shape. Even though I'm a conservative trader, I really like the technical data here so far and just the way that it's progressing. So just keep that in mind. Please understand that when you're taking entry, of course, be careful, try to find a good entry. But in circumstances like this, it's hard to find a good entry because the price just keeps going up, and essentially every entry is a good entry, if that makes sense, right? So again, just be mindful of that. Other indicators to note as well. This isn't super relevant, but the MACD looks like it's shifting towards bearish sentiment, which is neither here nor there, because every time it's done that in the past, it's just straight consolidated. So I wouldn't even pay attention to the MACD in this circumstance. Only really look at the RSI and make sure that if the RSI is overextending like this, you just kind of be careful and see how the price action works. If this continues to consolidate like it has previously, then you should prepare for the price to increase again. Okay? And I don't know when or how this is ever going to slow down, but this is fantastic to see. This is awesome news, and I'm really super happy about this one. So Ethereum Classic is impressive. It's really, really cool. I like the way it's moving. We can go ahead and take a look at the 1-minute chart just for fun here. Not much to really note here. Price is above VWAP, which is normal and expected in this circumstance. And as you can kind of see, it keeps doing these sharp increases with brief retracement and consolidation, increase, retrace, consolidate. So it's kind of rinsing and repeating the same thing over and over again. So there's nothing here that really concerns me all in all, because I just really like the way that it's progressing upwards. So again, to summarize, normally on the 1-day chart, I'd be extremely worried about this. This is normally cause for concern. Same thing with the 4-hour chart too. However, when you see these brief periods of consolidation, it allows for it to recover and kind of find its average true price. And that's a really, really good sign. And then furthermore, of course, on the 15, you can see plain as day, just the best price action you could ask for. When it, it ramps up, has a moment, gives itself a moment to breathe. Ramps up, breathing period. So it's like you're looking at like 4 hours of just straight increase, followed by 16 to 20 hours of consolidation. So we're looking for that's essentially a good option there. So all in all, I would say I'd give this stamp of approval for trying to find a good entry. In regard to finding a good entry too, because that's part of the reason why I like to make these videos. Again, to summarize, there's no good entry in this scenario. So it's hard. So waiting for it to come back down might not be advantageous because of the simple fact that it's consistently making higher highs, and when it retraces very minimally. Okay. So to me, I would recommend taking entry at almost any point, but based on its history and its consolidation after increase, I would be patient and just wait a little bit longer, because it's likely we're going to see a good 12 more hours of consolidation based on its history, because it keeps doing this step ladder scenario. So that being said, we're looking in pretty good shape. What we could do is add one of these, kind of get a baseline on where it's going. So what we should expect to see is for it to consolidate perhaps out to about this area. So I would say that by about 1:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow, we should expect to see the price increase again. Okay, again, if it continues to follow its pattern that it has been forming. It's a pretty consistent pattern. So that being said, be patient in taking entry, of course. Wait for the RSI to calm down a little bit more. It might retrace a little bit lower, but honestly, it's not going to come down tremendously if it continues to repeat its same patterns. Okay, so hopefully you found this beneficial. In circumstances like this, I just like to kind of take entry when I can, but I think that we can be a little patient here and not just jump right in. You might be able to find a lower price. So perhaps wait for it to come down to the 109 or 110 area and then take entry, or perhaps just again wait for the RSI to come down closer to maybe 40 or 50. Let it calm down just a little bit and make sure that we have confirmation, right? I'm a firm believer in making sure we have confirmation. And what I mean by that is on the 15-minute chart, wait for the line to come down and to test its support level. Now, it doesn't have like a tremendous support level right now, but you can kind of hypothetically see this little support level forming. So if you see this line right here, right at about 109, if it comes down and tests that a couple times, and it closes, just say for a 30-minute period, just say 2 solid 15-minute green bars, then that would be a good cause for entry. Okay. So just be mindful of that. That's kind of what I like to do. And obviously, before you take entry too, maybe wait for the volume weighted average price to catch back up, because this will start to continue to come up and to test the price action. So what I'm guessing is the VWAP will come up and connect with it somewhere in this range here. So I like using the VWAP. It's an important indicator to use. When circumstances are like these, it's not extremely relevant, but I can tell you that you want to wait for confirmation, and that is the only support level you'll see that's going to be coming up closer as quick as it can. Another thing too to be aware of is the 50-day moving average, this yellow line here, that will eventually come up and test the price too and likely work as a support level. It has previously with a very small variance. Okay. So yeah, again, nothing super major to update here, just the fact that this is a very comfortable, very good, consistent higher highs with a step ladder pattern forming that I feel comfortable in saying that almost any entry is a good entry right now. Just be mindful, try to wait for the price to bounce off any potential support level, which is currently the VWAP or the 109.50 range. Okay. All right, well, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me here. We'll go ahead and see you in the next video. Oh, also, I will plan to update, make update videos regarding this over the next few days, usually every other day, to ensure that we have good understanding of where things are going, because there will eventually be a case in point where this will slow down. I mean, it may not be tomorrow, may not be next week, but it will happen eventually soon. I want to be able to catch that with you and hopefully help you learn. So thanks again for joining me here and your patience with not being able to get one out every single day. Have a good rest of your day. We'll talk to you later. Thank you so much.